Hey guys, I'm Aviana and welcome to Live While Living by Aviana's second video blog post. Peace and blessings to everybody. I know it's been a while. Life just has been happening. I know it's been happening for a lot of you out there. It's just crazy times. But I'm so blessed that Spirit has allowed me to be in a settled space in order to create this video for you guys today. And what I want to talk about is something that's been on my heart that I've wanted to share with you guys for a while. And this topic of this blog post will cover just a few things that we can do when a loved one or a dear friend has unfortunately entered the hospital for a while due to some medical or illness or something like that. And I know that this is a situation that can leave us feeling very helpless at times and feeling like we can't do anything. From my experience, this is coming from when my mother was hospitalized for about 4 months for the stroke that she experienced in 2016. And I didn't really have guidance in doing a lot of the things that I did. I was just ultimately just kind of led by Spirit to do all types of energetic and intuitive practices that I know contributed to her doing a lot better and eventually being able to come home out of the hospital. My mother was in a coma off and on for about two months when she was in the ICU after the stroke that she experienced. And there are a lot of different things that I did. Some that I won't share, which I think that may not be super safe for people who are beginners in energetic and intuitive spiritual practices, working with people who have an illness. They weren't necessarily safe for me, but I kind of just got a crash course and was just, Spirit just moved me, and I just knew exactly what to do. But there are a few things that I'm going to share that I think anyone can do that won't get in the way of doctors or anything like that might be around, but still things that you can do to help your loved one to improve and get better. And the first one I'm going to share is really simple. But again, if you know that you are an empath or very sensitive energetically and spiritually to other people's energy, I would say to take precaution and maybe, looking into how to protect yourself, strengthening your aura, and balancing your energy before you engage in some of the things that I'm about to talk about, especially if you're sensitive to touch, which I am. I'm very sensitive to absorbing other people's energy through touch. And so the first thing I'm going to share is really just massage. I was going to a magnificent massage therapist in St. Louis for a while after I moved back. Her name is Pamela, and I don't know if she is still operating her business, but one of the first things she told me when my mom entered the hospital was to massage her hands and feet. And something as simple as that, I think, can make a difference. You can access almost all of or a lot of different organs through different pressure points on the foot, and you can access a lot of these points through the hands as well. And so just by massaging the person's feet and hands can really contribute to a lot of improvement in their health while they're being hospitalized. I don't have the card with me, but I recommend maybe I have like a little card that I got from an herb shop in St. Louis called Golden Grocer, and it has the different organs in relation to their points on the back of the foot, on the heel of the foot. And I would use this guide, and if the doctor told me that there was something going on. Oh, which I think a lot of it is BS a lot of times, but her liver or her kidney or whatever. So I would just find these points on the back of her foot, and I would massage these points, and I would massage, her lung points, because she was on a breathing machine for a lot of that time. And I would massage her hands every single time I went to the hospital, which was about every day, over the course of the 4 months. First the 2, with her being in and out of a coma. I would come in and I would massage her hands and her feet every single time. And my mom also was suffering prior to the stroke from eczema. So when I was allowed to, I don't remember if I was allowed to while she was in ICU, but I know when she went on to a chronic, still chronic type of therapy after the ICU, I was able to bring in shea butter and a lot of other natural oils that I would use to rub her body down every time I would go in there, because they were using some really awful lotion on her skin. But every day I would come in and I would rub shea butter or coconut oil or something just all over her body, and just massage is really good for anybody, and it helps kind of loosen up the lymph and move the lymph around, and it's just really healing. But again, if you're very sensitive to touch in that way and absorbing people's energy, I would definitely kind of take some precaution and research ways that you can protect yourself and strengthen your auric field before doing a lot of those things. Another thing that I did while I was there, I noticed that some of the nurses, and I'm just kind of intuitive like that, some of the nurses I noticed, even though that they were doing their job and had a kind heart as far as their services, I just noticed that a couple of them were carrying around kind of a dark and negative type of energy, and I think God really enabled me to see these things at a very expansive rate while this was going on. And so I just made sure to be there in the room to counteract these forces that I think were negatively impacting my mom when she was going through. And I did this a lot of the time with stones. I would bring in a lot of healing stones, and I would try to hide them, because as you all know, in regards to stones, you don't want certain people touching them. But one of the biggest stones that I use, the most powerful I believe, is labradorite, which is a stone that a lot of people use for brain injuries. And so I would work with this stone almost daily, and then I would leave it and try to hide it somewhere just so it would continue to assist my mom while I was away. I used rose quartz because I knew that there were a lot of things that were going on spiritually with her that she needed to heal from, in her heart. So I used just a lot of different stones that I think also really helped as well. And the last thing that I'll share, which is another kind of safe practice, is reading to your loved one. I was privy to a lot of the things that my mom was going through on a spiritual level and emotional level, which I think that ultimately contribute to her, experiencing the stroke. She had high blood pressure, which was the main cause, but I know kind of, your mom, and kind of things that she's been going through, and I just knew some of the things that were probably unresolved that she needed help healing through. So I had, there's a few books that I read to her while she was in a coma, actually, and books that talked about healing and really surrendering and releasing things that I knew were still in her heart and still in her body that were contributing to her illness. So I read these different texts to her, and I also read adventure books. I know that my mom really, really wanted to go to, still wants to go to Egypt and different parts of Africa. So I read different, adventure books about travel to her, just as a way of saying that, it's still possible. You can still go to these places, and, these are some adventures that we're still going to go on, and just, acting as if, I don't know, just really being affirmative in the things that I know that she still wants to accomplish. I would read to her all the time. Probably not every day, but I just really think it's a very helpful tactic to read to your loved one. Even if they're in a coma and you feel like they can't hear you. So those are the few tips that I'm going to share today. If you have any other questions or thoughts about this video, just send me an email at avianatbrown@gmail.com. That's A, V as in Victory, IANA, tbrown@gmail.com. And I'm going to be giving out 2 free bags of my tea that I released a few months ago. So the Calm Tea and the Rise Blend, the Roots Blend. So be on the lookout. I will make an announcement soon about how to get you some free tea. So thank you guys so much. Peace and blessings again, and I'll see you soon.